The Day the Ocean Followed Us Home. Past Now Read presents another entry in our anthology of stories that need to be told. The Day the Ocean Followed Us Home. If you have a story that needs to be told, email it to stories@pastnowread.com. If you like this story, stay tuned each Thursday evening for the next episode. Now, The Day the Ocean Followed Us Home. Enjoy. Landfall. The wind shears the rain sideways so hard it stings like salt. Harbor lamps cough, then die, leaving a scratch of moon and white waves on the pilings. I came to film the surge, the kind of clip algorithms devour, when something gray shoulders out of the water on the ramp. At first, I think it's stranded. It isn't. It pushes up with the patient insistence of a knee after a long drive. Balances and stands, a bottlenose, dripping, chest rising, eyes black and level, breathing, not drowning, choosing. I back into a coil of rope. Another shape rolls ashore beside it, then another farther down, and something larger, black and immaculate, surfaces so close to the ramp, the concrete trembles. The dolphin nearest me cocks its head. I've seen dogs do that. I've never seen the ocean do it. Marks along its flank look like cuts until they glow, soft, bruised blue, arranged like lines that aren't lines at all. The glow pulses once and fades. My phone shakes in my hand. Okay, I tell no one and everyone because I'm streaming. This is happening. The dolphin opens its mouth. The sound it makes has edges, too pure to be a word and too deliberate not to be one. It hits cartilage, rings behind my eyes. The shape of the word is us. Sirens spool inland. The larger shape, an orca, leans its mass into the ramp the way a barge leans into a berth. It doesn't breach for applause. It arrives. The tide should be ebbing with the storm's push. Instead, the sea inhales, sloshing over the curb to lick the harbor lot. I retreat until backpack straps bite. The orca's eye slides past me, then stops. It isn't curious. It calculates. A second orca hisses water from its blowhole, and both angle toward the road, bodies listing, pectoral fins testing slick asphalt, as if they've rehearsed on some other shore. Dolphins keep coming. 10, 20, more. The ramp clotted, the harbor alive with breathing. Soon, they're in the street, gliding around abandoned cars, ingenious machines, reconfigured for a surface they've barely touched. I run, not from a chase. I'm not prey. I run from the fact that I'm no longer the most upright thing on the road. At the crosswalk, the orca pauses under a failing street lamp, like someone remembering a word, then turns uphill, deliberate, like following a map left in its skull. The sound comes again, the one that means us. And the other thing you hear when a city realizes it isn't centered on itself anymore. The world taking your measure. I pivot to keep filming as the orca passes within arm's length. Its skin brushes my sleeve, slick, electric, and a new tone rattles my teeth, lower than fear, older than language. The streetlight flares, pops, and goes dark. From the seawall behind me, something vast exhales. The ramp shakes. More shapes rise, and all at once I understand. The worst part isn't that they're here, it's that they know where they're going. Witnesses. The shelter is a high school gym, smelling of plastic tarps, damp coats, and the metal tang of panic. Folding cots line the floor, all occupied by people pretending to sleep while watching the exits. The fluorescent lights hum like they're nervous too. She finds me because she's seen my stream. No introduction, just the certainty of someone used to chasing anomalies. Tall, wiry, hair in a storm-proof knot. She moves like the water is still under her. A marine biologist, she says. Been tracking acoustic irregularities all week. She hands me her phone. On the screen, a scrolling spectrogram. Color smears across frequency bands. Whistles, clicks, burst pulses. Dolphins can hit 150 kilohertz. Orcas are lower, but still way beyond human range. What you heard wasn't for you, and yet you heard it. I tell her about the marks glowing on their skin. She nods, swipes to another image, close-up shots from drone footage, glyphs pulsing faintly, arranged in repeating sequences, not algae blooms, controlled bioluminescence, like programmable patterns. We talk in low voices, while the gym roils with rumors. She explains she's been running self-supervised machine learning models on the hydrophone feed. No labels, letting the system build a latent map of the data. Tonight, the pattern collapsed into something interpretable. And they've mapped our city, she says, from the way it sounds underwater. Storm drains, subway tunnels, ventilation shafts. They know the shape of our spaces through our echoes. Somewhere near the cots, a child plays a looping news clip of soldiers rolling barriers into place downtown. The Chiron guesses at explanations. None of them are close. I ask why the animals came ashore. She just, come see, and gestures to the doors. Dawn is the color of old coins. Floodlights slash through the rain, cutting the waterfront into surgical slices. We stand behind a barricade, watching a truck monitor showing a live drone feed. The camera hovers over avenues already slick with seawater, where dolphins and orcas move in formation, sliding between stalled cars, stopping at intersections like they're reading an invisible chart. The pattern is purposeful. They're climbing the streets that lead to the ridge. On the thermal overlay, dolphins burn bright white, orcas glow like slow moons. Interspersed among them, knots of humans move too, at first resisting, then falling into step, not following, not exactly, but being guided. Farther out, at the edge of the shelf, the drone camera fixes on something wrong, a shape too large to drift, too still to be wave, too dark to be read by the water's surface. It sits exactly where the continental slope dives into the abyss. No whitecaps break over it. The sea moves around it, deferential. Beside me, she mutters, Seiche, explains about resonant sloshing in enclosed basins, then shakes her head. Wrong geometry. This is a push from below. What kind of push? I ask. Her thumb flicks open another map. This one not of tides, but of mining claims. Blocks of ocean labeled in fine print. All in the deepest blue. Deep sea rare earth extraction zones. If you scrape a nodule field clean, you don't just take minerals. You take the pressure, the silence, the sound structure. The sirens change pitch. The monitor glitches, then clears to show orcas halted on the ridge. Dolphins forming a crescent in the plaza below them, all facing the black shape offshore. The shape pulses once, and every streetlight in view dies. The message. It starts in my teeth, a low, steady hum, like the throb of a far-off engine. Then it settles in my jaw hinge, travels down my spine, and blooms behind my knees. People around me freeze, heads tilting without meaning to, the way flowers bend toward the sun. The marine biologist presses her phone against my ear. Through the tinny speaker, clicks, whistles, and a bass, so deep it feels like the ground is breathing. On her screen, the hydrophone feed jitters, then smooths, patterns collapsing into something almost human. Letters crawl across the output window. The depth is empty. A pause. Then, you took it. I'm not sure which part hits harder, the accusation or the fact that it's in our language at all. She explains in short, clipped sentences. Her model isn't translating dolphin. It's mapping acoustic intention onto human concepts, a brute force match between their sonar patterns and our semantic spaces. More phrases emerge. Return pressure, return dark, return silence. The hum fades for a moment, replaced by the normal storm noises. Wind, rain, the occasional clatter of debris against metal. It feels wrong, like a symphony cut off mid-bar. They're not talking about minerals, she says. Down there, silence is a structure. Pressure is part of the architecture. You tear that apart. You don't just remove resources. You collapse the space everything lives in. And they think we can give it back? I ask. Her mouth tightens. I think they're here to make sure we try. We cut through an alley to reach the rooftop of a parking garage. From here, you can see the city's arterial roads running uphill like veins. They're crowded, not just with people, but with dolphins in single file. Orcas stationed like sentinels at ramp mouths. They're herding, she says. Orcas drive prey into bait balls using coordinated pressure. This, she gestures to the scene below, is the same, only the prey is us. I watch as an orca blocks a stairwell entrance, redirecting a stream of evacuees toward a dry ramp. A man tries to push past. The orca dips its head, teeth bared just enough to redraw his idea of urgency. He backs off. Her phone buzzes in her hand, screen flickering. The AI output keeps updating. Not enemy. Guide. Then a final line. Water coming wrong. She shows it to me like she's showing a verdict. They know the flow is changing. Wrong tides, wrong rise rates. This isn't storm surge. It's a structural shift in the sea. What's causing it? The horizon answers. That black shape offshore swells once, a slow, deliberate breath, and the garage beneath us shudders. Somewhere far below, a car alarm goes off, tinny and fragile against a low frequency, now vibrating in our bones again. The dolphins along the edge of the rooftop all turn toward the sea at once. Not in panic, in readiness. The biologist exhales. That's the knock. And for the first time tonight, I realize it's not the water we should be afraid of. The choice. Water doesn't slam into the city. It climbs it, deliberate as a thief who knows every creak in the floorboards. It comes from every low place at once. Manholes burping salt, subway grates sighing brine, gutters coughing foam. It isn't wind-driven surge. It's the sea finding a new route. The dolphins move between people like practiced shepherds, their bodies cutting clean paths through waist-deep water. Orcas guard choke points, parking garage ramps, stairwells, redirecting the flow of humans with a nod or a flick of their massive heads. There's no aggression, only insistence. I see a woman slip in the current, arms flailing. A dolphin surfaces beside her, lets her grip its dorsal fin, and ferries her toward higher ground. She's sobbing. Shock, relief, both. But the animal's glyphs pulse a steady blue, like a heartbeat on display. They're evacuating us, I say aloud. Saying it doesn't make it less impossible. They know what's coming, the biologist says, scanning the dark horizon. They know it's already here. A cold gust sweeps over the flooded street, smelling of iron and kelp. Somewhere beneath the surface, something massive turns. The water shivers against my legs, as if bracing for a weight it's about to carry. The black wall offshore rises. It has no crest, no foam, just a vast, shifting vertical, as if the ocean itself is being pulled upright to see what we've done. Streetlights nearest the shore flicker, then die in sequence, like a retreating army. The parking garage trembles under our feet. Below, cars float like discarded toys. The low-frequency hum is back, deep enough to make my vision blur at the edges. On the biologist's phone, the AI flashes a final line. Return what you took. How? I ask, but my voice is swallowed by the sound. She doesn't answer. Maybe she can't. The dolphins along the rooftop edge face seaward, glyphs brightening in unison. The orcas below release long, slow breaths, white steam rolling into the rain, like surrender or ceremony. The wall swells once more. For a heartbeat, it holds there, colossal and patient, before beginning to lean. We're not the center, she says quietly. We're just in the way. A wave of shadow sweeps toward us, blotting out the last of the horizon. I grip the railing as it touches the city. The dolphins don't move, neither do I. Whatever comes next isn't ours to stop, only to survive. You have been listening to The Day the Ocean Followed Us Home, produced and adapted for audio narration by PastNowRead. Stories that need to be told. If you have a story that needs to be told, email it to stories@pastnowread.com. Please subscribe, like, and hit that bell for future updates. If you liked this story, stay tuned for the next episode each Thursday evening. Follow for more. If you like our stories, please tag with someone who may also like PastNowRead, stories that need to be told. Thank you. All content and images are copyrighted by Faux Nay House, LLC, 2025, all rights reserved.